Good evening. This is Laura at Busy Bee Farms, and it's been a while since I've done a garden tour of the front garden. I think it was a couple weeks ago, and so I just wanted to give you an update on how well it's growing. We've been able to come along and prune our tomatoes and kind of tie them up to the trellis. A lot of them have gotten tall enough to do that, and so what we did is we trimmed off any leaves right here that were down to the ground because we didn't want any diseases from the ground to get onto those leaves and attack the plant. And then as it gets up here to the trellis, then we use these little clips to tie it to the trellis on the main stem, so it will continue to be supported and grow up the trellis. And we've done that. We did that a few days ago for all of the tomato plants. And then we decided, since we were having such trouble with getting our green beans to sprout, we decided to plant a row of green beans down here in the front garden, just to see if they did any different. And what we found is we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 plants that have germinated and are growing. So that's fabulous. That is fabulous. It may just be the soil in the back garden that is what's causing the problem, but for here we've got our green beans starting to grow, which is wonderful. That is my celebrity tomato plant. There's the clip where we clipped it to the trellis, from the main stem to the trellis, so that it can continue to grow. We also trimmed off any suckers that were on these plants. A sucker is a little stem that kind of grows out of the corner. There's the main stem, and then there's a branch, and then anything that grows right there in the middle is called a sucker. And so you pinch those off so that your main stem gets as much nutrients to continue to grow up to produce the tomatoes for you to have. So we did that. Matthew helped me a few days ago.
That one's about ready for another clip.
Is it?
It's up. The clip's at the bottom.
Oh, it sure is.
And it's up 2.5.
It sure is. So we will probably be out here tomorrow clipping up some of these, and probably some of these that weren't at the top of the trellis then, they probably are now. I'm very excited to see them grow. That means tomatoes soon, hopefully. Hopefully that will come. And then this is the jalapeno row. And they seem to be doing good. Last year I struggled with the jalapenos. They struggled at the very beginning, and then it took a while for them to start growing. So far so good with peppers for this row. They've done fairly well. These are hot jalapenos, and then at the end of the row we have not hot jalapenos called notapenos. Oh, look at you.
Now, how come that one's those have got 2 clips on them?
So when Matthew was clipping my tomatoes up, some of these, where they were at that point, they wouldn't reach over. So he clipped 2 together because it was leaning over. He still wanted it to be supported. So he came up with the idea of clipping both of them together to get them to the trellis so it could start growing that way, and then we could go down to 1. See, there's the main stalk, and so now we would be able just to go to 1 little clip to keep it going. Here's one of those little suckers I was telling you about, so we'll just pinch that off.
I didn't get to see it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, it was right here in that little bend, and then we just pinch it off. And one exciting thing I wanted to show you is that this next row is our peppers. And if you remember in the first video, I talked about how a lot of my peppers were struggling terribly. And so we actually bought some peppers from our local co-op. And right here, these three right here are a green sweet bell pepper. And right here, this one has a bloom on it. So there will soon be a, actually it has 2 blooms on it. So there will be a pepper that starts growing there. So we did, let's see, 1, 2, there's 3 here, and then there's 1 more bell pepper down here that we bought from the store. Now we still have some that I started from seed, these right here, and they're still growing. They're doing really good. This one right here is growing really good. It seems very sturdy. And there's a couple down there that are purple bell peppers. We've never grown those before, but they were at the co-op, and so we decided to get those and try those. So we'll see how well they do. I'm sure they'll look very pretty in any salsa that I put them in. So, and then just more tomatoes, the next row. And then also at the co-op that day, we got some serrano peppers because all of mine died. So that's the only thing left on this row are these 3 serrano peppers. All the banana peppers did not make it, and then the serrano peppers that I started from seed did not make it. Don't know why. I've never had just tons of tomato plants just die. I've had a few, but I've not had like the whole row be taken out. So, not sure what happened there. And then we continue with tomatoes, and then we, this row, Matthew just planted this week. We had some more of our green beans that were ready to plant. So we just decided to plant this empty row full of green beans. And as you can see, there's 1 and there's 2. And on down the row, it's probably hard for you to see on the camera, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks like 5, 6 more that are growing. So that is just awesome. And then our next row, these are our cucumbers.
Can't wait for them to grow.
These are the...
Some more pickles.
You see the little lightning bug. But these are the Boston pickling cucumbers. And then the next row over here beside it is the Eureka cucumbers. And there's a lot of plants in this row, as you can see. Tons and tons. Looks like about 24 cucumber plants just in this one row. So that is wonderful. And the last time that I did this video, I told you that after the cucumbers, we were going to have beans. And a lot of them have sprouted since then. This row is the Good Mother Stollard beans. This row and the next row beside it, they are a bean. They're supposed to be good for soups and for baked beans and things like that. So we decided to try those this year. We've never tried them before. So it will be interesting to see how they taste. And then this next row is some zipper cream peas. And the reason they're called that is the pod, after the pod is formed and the peas are inside, it's supposed to just the pod is supposed to open up just like a little zipper, and all those little peas come out. The peas are supposed to be a creamish white color, and you kind of cook them almost like a white bean. There was a man from church, Brother Bob, who gave me those seeds to try. And so we did this row with those. And I believe the next row I did the zipper cream peas as well. I have to go back and remember because I wrote it down. But they are They are doing fabulous. I am super excited to see how well they germinated and that they're just poked through the woven ground cover, which keeps all the weeds down. It looks just beautiful out here when you just look down that row and see all the green popping up.
And guys, this is the 12.5-foot wide woven ground cover that I was explaining in the other video about the tiller. So you can see this is a seam here, and then this is a seam here. So this is 12.5 foot wide, and then we just burned the holes in it. But it's just like the other one, and there was enough room we could have done another row here, but we weren't sure that we were going to do more, and then Brother Bob brought us some more seeds, so we ended up doing a whole nother section here, 12.5 foot from here over to here.
And so it has one row of Black Valentine black beans, and then it has 4 rows of Great Northern white beans. We just planted those a week ago, so you can see they are sprouting up really quickly. Some of the white beans are still kind of slow to poke through, but they're coming up. They're definitely coming up. Some of them, the way they got planted, they're kind of getting caught right under the fabric, so it's good to kind of keep an eye on your seedlings and make sure that you're able to poke through.
Sorry guys, I'm trying out a video camera that we had, so sorry if it's shaky. And that's the bean that was planted, and then their first leaves. The bean split in two after it took root and pushed up.
Yeah, I don't see as many of them that have germinated as I do the others. But there's still some, like right here, this one's fixing to poke through, so it just may take them a little bit longer to come through the soil and germinate.
And then this area over here is where our greenhouse is going to go. We had gotten Laura a greenhouse for Christmas that was smaller. It was 10 by
20?
10 by 20.
I think 10 by 20.
And that's the graveled section you see there. And we had some really bad storms come through, and even though I had the black that you see across there is the wind strapping, it basically just ripped it all up anyways, and it flung it
up to the street
road.
sign. Yep.
Wrapped it around a pole up there.
Yep.
And there was no repairing it. I saved the canvas off of it, but we've got this laid out. We went to Bootstrap Farmer, and we have ordered their DIY kit, which includes the bending rod, or it's not a rod. What is it? And it's not a bracket. It's a.
I honestly don't remember what it's called, but
it's the template to bend your own bows to make a greenhouse, so you can use it over and over and over, and it works off of chain link fencing material. The line post are your posts that you drive into the ground along your outside edges every 4 feet. And then on each side, you do that every 4 feet down through there, which we've not done that yet. I've not had the money to go buy the materials. We're just doing it step by step. But it will be in by fall, so keep watching, and you we'll bring you along as we build that. But anyways, once you get your post drove in along the edges, then you use the chain link top rail and you put it in this thing that we bought. I wish I could remember the name of it, but it's just slipping my mind right now. But you put it in the template to bend the bows, and the bows are the parts that go over, and then they go into the post that you drive on each side, and you use self-tapping metal screws to screw it all together. So it's going to be 20 feet wide and 30 feet long. It's supposed to be somewhere, if I remember correctly, in the neighborhood of 11.5 feet tall in the center, and 1 foot out from our edges, 1 foot inset. It's supposed to be 6'6". So that should take care of the height requirements, since this is going to be Laura's greenhouse and she's only 4'11".
Yeah, I have plenty of space.
And I'm 6'1", so as long as I'm not right on the very edge, then I think we'll be all right, not banging our head on it.
Watch that way.
But anyways, guys, that's a update of the garden space.
I love looking at the garden from right here because it just looks so clean, and all the little green just poking up through the woven ground cover. It just looks so pretty. It's just pretty.
All right, guys, that's our update from here at Busy Bee Farms. We're going to wrap it up for tonight, but that is just a check-in so that you can kind of keep track of how things are growing and how we're progressing with the garden here. So we appreciate y'all watching. Hit that subscribe button and the like. Tell your friends so that it can help us grow our channel. And we will see y'all on the next video.
God bless.
God bless.
So as we were walking back out of the garden, we were looking at something towards the chicken coop, and it got me over here towards these tomato plants, and I noticed that I have first blooms on my tomatoes. Right here, as you can see the little flowers starting. That means I'm gonna have tomatoes right there. There's two. These two, you can see they're just like one little petal. But these right here, you kind of see a bigger group of petals. That's kind of like a cluster. And so they call that a fasciated blossom. And if you let that go, what will happen is, like, it looks like there's probably two there, so it's almost like two tomatoes kind of grow together. So they kind of look kind of gnarly and kind of deformed looking. They're not the prettiest round looking tomatoes, and that's how you get those. And a lot of people will just pick these off. Some people let them grow and just see what it turns out to be. I just, like I was saying, we just kind of walked back down this way and I saw that. I think this is one of the first tomatoes with a flowering on it, to show that it's going to grow a tomato. And I'm trying to remember exactly which tomatoes these are. These are the Bonnie's Best tomatoes. That's what these are, I believe. Well, actually, cherry, apple. These actually may be the Cherokee Purple, because the Bonnie's Best is at the very top. I have to go back and look at my diagram, but this may either be a Bonnie's Best or a Cherokee Purple. And so I will update you on that. But it's one of the two. But I'm just so super excited. Super excited. That means tomatoes are coming. So that's a wonderful thing. We just wanted to share all that with you. Thank you. God bless.